طيب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم اللهم اكتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I do bear witness that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum jami'an. Thank you for coming, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give all of us the barakah of time inshallah, and to help me, I personally, to be of some help in this session. So we have about 45 minutes. The topic for today, basically, it might be a little bit maybe surprising for you. I was thinking with the topic of is it possible that Allah might change the laws of nature for me? I repeat, I will be discussing something has to do with the Islamic Arabic terminology, al-karama or al-mu'jiza. Have you heard these two terms? Miracle? Mm-hmm. Huh? Now, I will give like a small introduction why I'm planning to talk about this thing. Then I will ask you a question, then I will delve into the core of the topic. Now, to the best of my knowledge, Muslims in general, they are facing a serious problem. Habibi, can you sit in a good way? Jazakallah khair. Thank you. Barakallah feek. Just out of respect for the masjid, because this is the direction of the Qibla. Jazakallah khair. Thank you, Habibi. I think you do agree with me that generally, Muslims and non-Muslims generally, we are facing a problem which is the very big influence of materialism in our life, hayal maddiya, which means our lives, it's mixed amazingly with the non-religious, with the secular, with the materialistic aspects in our life. We go to study. Imagine that you do not come to the masjid. If your parents somehow they are not religious, if God is not mentioned at your home, if you do not pray, if you do not come to the masjid, try just to imagine to delete these items out of your life. The rest of your life is basically completely connected to what? Just materialistic aspects. What to eat, when to eat, what to study, how to earn money, how to graduate, how to bring blah 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 blah, etc. It's just the only thing that we think. So subhanallah, we say alhamdulillah from one angle that alhamdulillah our great religion gives us the balance between these two. Yet still many Muslims they are facing a serious problem. In my understanding, from my experience dealing with the people, that we have a serious problem in being detached, being disconnected from our spiritual religious life to this earthly materialistic life. In Islam, the excellent status is the balance. Okay? قال وابتغ في Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Quran or is mentioning what the people, the true believers, the Muslimin from the people of Israel when they said to Qarun, you know the story of Qarun at the time of Pharaoh, قال وابتغ فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة ولا تنس نصيبك من الدنيا, which means part of our basic life that we believe that we are living in this worldly life. Then we have the barzakh, the barrier, where we have what we call the na'im and the adab of the qabr, the punishment and the enjoyment and the joy of the grave, which is, we call it let's say the period of the barzakh. Then we have the hereafter, which starts with the day of judgment, where we have what we call the resurrection congregation, which everyone will be resurrected. Al-ba'ath wal-nushur wal-ihya, the accountability. Then imma jannatun abada, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to let all of you be from, or la qaddar Allah, the other way, which is, okay, you will be punished depending on whatever. Okay? So as Muslims, now, we live in this worldly life, we have a duty. We need to be most of the time, hopefully all the time, but at least as much as we can, with the akhirah, because the akhirah is the eternal life. Okay? Now, when this is not mentioned for whatever reason, if God is not mentioned, if Allah is not mentioned, if religion is not mentioned, if akhirah is not mentioned, if death is not mentioned, we will be more connected to the materialistic aspect of this life. So we might be facing a serious problem when we are approaching this. Now, because this is the introduction, this is why, at least from my point of view, I decided to talk about, in this worldly life, one of the beautiful things. Is it possible that Allah might change the laws of nature for my sake? يعني ممكن ربنا يغير قوانين الكون لأجلي. Okay, is it possible? طيب, by the way, this is discussed in two terms, karama and mu'jiza. These two terms. Mu'jiza means the miracle. You know the miracle? If you hear the word now, in your understanding, what is the meaning of miracle from your point of view? What do you think? I'm asking now. When you hear the word, wow, what's miracle? What's the meaning of miracle? Mu'jiza. What does it mean in your mind, your understanding? Yes?
More like luck. It's like, oh, it was a miracle.
Can you speak loudly?
Luck.
Luck?
Yeah, like you got really lucky.
You
So it's a
lucky.
miracle.
Ah. Very lucky. Miracle, very lucky. But what else? Okay.
When something out of the ordinary or something unexpected happens.
Something not expected happens. Something not ordinary. Okay, what else? Thank you. What's mu'jiz? What's miracle from your point of view?
Something impossible happened that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to happen.
Something impossible?
Impossible.
Impossible.
That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to happen.
Wanted to happen. Such as, do you have an example in your mind?
Like, for example, I've heard stories of, like, I forgot what prophet it was, but when he was like an infant, he was able to talk, and that was considered a miracle.
It's like Jesus alayhi salam.
Yes, I forgot.
Al-Masih, yes, yes, Isa alayhi salam. In our faith, we believe that he spoke when he was born, in the first few days. He spoke like an adult. قال إني عبد الله. That's true. This is called, we call it miracle. Okay? Like what else? Do we use this term in our life? Do you use it in your life? You use it for what? Miracle.
Like something you don't expect happen.
You don't expect to happen.
Like I didn't study and I passed my test, it's a miracle.
Ah. Okay, good example. Good. I did not study, so in our mathematical calculations, our human expectations, I'm not supposed to pass because I did not study, for example. I say it like a miracle. Right. Now, let me give you the terminology from Islamic faith-based point of view. Okay? From one angle, consider it like an informative talk. Then we go to what does it benefit you. Okay? Now, the word mu'jiza, in the Islamic terminology, the definition, تعريف, قال هو أمر خارق للعادة يجريه الله سبحانه وتعالى على يد نبي من أنبيائه إثباتا لصحة النبوة. المعجزة. The definition, it's something that breaks the law of the universe. It breaks the law of nature by the will of Allah, which proves that this person is a prophet representing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, for example, Isa alayhi salam, as a prophet, when he was sent to the people of Israel, one of the things now, in the laws of nature, when someone passes away, when he dies, is there any medical way to bring him to life again? خلاص, death, that's it. True or false? خلاص, مات, راح. Isa alayhi salam, he was given the ability by the will of Allah بإذن الله سبحانه وتعالى وأحيي الموتى أنه أحيي الموتى بإذن الله. A dead person, خلاص, he's supposed to be buried. He spoke with him in a way. Now he came to life and he spoke with Isa alayhi salam. Some certain diseases, okay, it was impossible to be healed in his time. Just by putting his hand or by saying a word or something, completely disappeared. This is called miracle. For example, can you walk on the water? In our normal ability, with what we have, can we walk on the water? You can't. If someone is walking in the water, it could be called what? Mu'jiza. Can we fly without any means that helps us? I'm not using an airplane, using no other means, just by this. Can I fly exactly like the bird? No. It's impossible. If I did it, it could be a miracle. Okay, now, The definition of a miracle, it's خارق العادة, which means something that breaks the law. Allah does it for a prophet, to prove that he's a prophet. طيب. We have another part of what linguistically could be called a mu'jiza, but we call it in Islam karama. And this is my topic today. What is the karama? Karama, it is khariq al-'ada as well. It is something that Allah breaks the law, but not for a prophet or a messenger. For what? Normally human being, from the true believers, as a sign of honoring him. Okay? Which means good, nice, true believer who's doing his best to satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the path of the Prophet in his time, doing his best, respecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing the best of what comes under his ability, respecting Allah, loving Allah, doing what Allah loves. Allah might decide at a certain point to honor him. One of the ways of honoring him, he might break the laws of nature for his sake as a sign of honoring him. Okay? Now I will give you an example. Now, why I'm mentioning this, I want you to know, even living in this, there's something amazingly beautiful in this life if you are connected to Allah from the way, from the gate of Iman, if it is well established. I will tell you the hadith, the sound hadith, the sahih hadith, that I will build my concept of today on it, and I will connect it with another hadith. Then I will finish my talk. I will be, by this, I'm expecting that I will, inshallah, will be delivering the message. Then we will see the questions before Salat al-Maghrib. Look, there's a very famous hadith. It's a sound hadith, hadith sahih. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, I will say it in Arabic, then I will translate it. قال كان رجل في من كان قبلكم, one of the men, in the previous nations, and I have to pay your attention to something. When Prophet Muhammad ﷺ speaks about a believer from previous nations, it could be from the followers of Nuh alayhi salam, okay, or the followers of Moses or Musa alayhi salam, or the followers of Jesus or Isa alayhi salam. You need to know from Islamic point of view, the followers of all prophets and messengers, from Adam up to Muhammad, we consider them what? Muslims. We call them Muslims. Because the meaning of Islam is to submit yourself to the will of your Lord. So any believer in his prophet in his time, if he submitted to Allah through the prophet of his time, he is a submitter who has submitted himself to Allah. So by default he is what? A Muslim. So that's why basically it is true to call a believer from the time of Nuh Muslim. Okay? From the time of Yusuf alayhi salam, Joseph, Muslim. The followers of Dawood and Sulaiman alayhi salam, they are Muslimin, from the people of Israel. Okay? So when the Prophet Muhammad قال كان رجل في من كان قبلكم, he did not tell us whether he's from the followers of Moses or Jesus or Nuh, but he's talking about a believer who can be called a what? A Muslim. It's like saying one of the believers of Muslims in the previous times, he كان يسير في فلاة, like a very big open area like a desert, okay, in the summer. قال فسمع صوتا في سحابة يقول اسقي حديقة فلان. He was walking, there is like one cloud in the sky. It was summer, sunny, but sometimes you might have just a small cloud, okay? It's not a cloudy weather, it's not winter, it's not cold, but nevertheless you could have just one cloud. قال فسمع صوتا, he heard like a voice addressing the cloud, telling قال اسقي حديقة فلان. He was not able to comprehend what's happening. Sound, voice, talking with the cloud. اسقي حديقة فلان. Go and give the water for the garden of such and such person, and his name was mentioned. طبعا this person, he did not realize what's happening. قال فأنزلت السحابة ماءها في حرة. This cloud really did rain. So the rain started falling down. قال فأنزلت سحابة ماءها في حرة. The word حرة in Arabic means the piece of land which is full of stones and rocks. الأرض المليئة بالصخور والحجارة. Okay? Which contains, look, a big piece of land, just rocks and stones and full of cracks. You know, شقوق, it's deserts, rocks, stones, cracks. قال فأنزلت السحابة ماءها في حرة. قال فاحتملت الحرة الماء كله. Amazingly, instead of the water being swallowed by the desert and by the stones and by the cracks, it did not evaporate. It did not go inside the cracks and the holes between the stones and something. قال احتملته, which means, amazingly, this harra, like a container, it reserved the water. قال ثم صار الماء. Now, cloud, raining, this is the harra, like a container, okay? قال then the word قال فصار الماء فتبع الرجل الماء. The one who witnessed this, who heard this, who saw this, kept following the water, because this is the only source of water. It's a sunny summer, clouds, desert, but yet water just here on this piece, and the water is going just one direction. He followed the water. قال فتبع الماء فإذا الماء قد دخل في بستان. This only just channel of water is getting into like a garden. قال فرأى رجلا يوجه الماء بمسحاته. One of the tools for agricultural tools. قال he was directing the water towards, you know, the trees and the vegetations and the whatever fruits that he has. قال فسلم عليه وسأله عن اسمه فإذا هو الاسم الذي سمعه. He said السلام عليكم. He greeted him in his language. May I ask what's your name? Such and such. The same name that he heard addressing the cloud. قال لماذا تسأل? He said, I heard your name. And he explained everything. Look, it's something I'm not able to explain it. How come this has happened? And I have witnessed. What's the thing that you are doing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing this for you? Look, now let's just focus. What did Allah do for him? In the laws of nature, now we understand now. Because we know much more about what we call now physics, chemistry, agriculture, water. Now, scientifically, we know that just one cloud in the desert, in the summer, will not give rain. You need much more clouds. You need a certain amount of temperature to be low, high. You need humidity. You need this kind of, you know, specific conditions so that the water will come. Just one cloud alone in the sky in the summer will not give water. It gave, which is against the laws of nature. Plus, according to the physical, chemical, geological laws of nature, when the rain in the summer comes into hot, stony, rocky, desert area, the water should face what? It's either to be evaporated or just to completely disappear inside earth, cracks and stones. خلاص. إما يبلع أو يتبخر. Neither nor. Nothing happened, which is against the laws of nature. So let's say 1, 2, 3 things amazingly. Now, okay, please tell me what is the thing that you are doing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is doing this for you. قال والله يا أخي أما وأن الله قد أطلعك. As long as Allah has shown you the secret between me and him, there is a secret between him and Allah. He wasn't expecting this person. He was not expecting that Allah will reveal this secret for someone, and then the Prophet Muhammad, maybe hundreds or thousands, we don't know. Maybe he's from the followers of Nuh alayhi salam. Maybe this story has happened 9,000 years ago, maybe 6,000, maybe 7. We have no idea, okay? Because the Prophet did not tell us. He said, كان رجل في من كان قبلكم. A man from the believers in a previous time. Allah knows. Maybe at least 2,000 years. He said, look, as long as Allah has told you or has been made you a witness on something, I will tell you what the thing that I'm doing. قال والله يا أخي إني لا أفعل إلا أن الذي يرزقني الله من هذا البستان قال أوزعه ثلاثة. ثلث لله تعالى للفقراء والمساكين وثلث لأهل بيتي وعيالي وثلث أرجعه في الأرض لإعادة الزراعة. He said, actually I'm doing nothing more than that I divide the rizq, the substance that Allah is giving me out of this garden, the fruits and the vegetables, whatever He's planting, okay? I divide them into 3 parts. 1/3 for the sake of Allah. I donate as a sadaqah for the poor and needy people. 1/3. The other 1/3, it's my food for my family and my kids. The 3rd part of this, I use it as seeds and I, for to plant again next, time or next season. And that's it. The story is finished. My comments, because he was so sincere with Allah. Now focus, please. Now highlight what I'm saying. He was so sincere, so beloved to Allah to a degree, he was donating 1/3 of his budget. It's like someone who's earning $3,000 on monthly basis, donating $1,000 every month, which is 1/3 of his budget, 1/3 of what he is receiving. Allah was so happy from him to a degree, he honored him by changing the laws of nature for his sake. He did not do something, the person, look, now if you want to take it from Islamic point of view, the obligation, the obligatory zakah is how much? 2.5%, which means every 100, let's say dollar, you have to pay just $2.5, which is nothing. This is the obligation in case if you have an addition. The sadaqah is open. You can give 5, 10, whatever. This person made it like an obligation on himself, by himself, to give what? 33%. Which is not something very strange, but he did it. Now, very action, this is my point. Is it possible in this worldly life that Allah might love me and be satisfied to a degree he could be changing the laws of nature? The answer is yes. But you need to trust in this, and you need to go and to delve into the area correctly. Look, he started this for the sake of Allah, then the reward came. Now, what kind of benefits I can get? Some people, they say, Sheikh, we are not discussing benefits. No, we are discussing benefits. Because by the way, when we talk about rewards, hasanat, and sins, sayyi'at, it's a matter of what we benefit and what we lose. True or false? And by the way, when we pray, we say, إحنا مجازا, metaphorically we say, نحن نصلي لوجه الله. This is تجاوزا في اللغة. Practically, we are praying for the sake of what? Does Allah need our prayer? Do you think the divinity of Allah will be lost in case if I do not prostrate for Him? يعني أنا لم أسجد لله هل تنقص عظمة ألوهية الله? No. So I'm praying for my own benefit. Because I want Allah to be satisfied with me. I'm following what satisfies Him. Actually, I'm benefiting myself. I'm not benefiting Allah. When I do the good thing or the bad thing, it's either I'm harming myself or benefiting myself. So, my point, I need you to know, from Islamic faith-based point of view, Allah easily can change something you can't even imagine in case of you deserve. Like what? Let's take this simple example. That's why I ask you, your example. You talk about the tests. Now, in our human abilities, I have a final exam. Let's say I attended just 50% of the classes. I did not see the textbook. I did not prepare myself for the final exam. I was so busy, I had a headache, and I forgot the time of the final exam. Someone reminded me just 10 minutes before the final exam, and I went there, very nervous, no study, no attendance for 50%. I had no idea what the text spoke. In our human calculations, what is the possibility not to pass, to be the first? Seriously, what is the possibility to be the first? It's 0. Unless if I cheat. Forget this. The possibility normally to be the first is what? It's nearly impossible. Here I will give you Could the concept of karama that can be translated in English, at least for you, miracle, mu'jiza, happen now? Yes. Do you know how? Do you know how? Now, have I attended 50% of the classes or not?
No.
Right. My memory normally can't stand recalling the information. Allah will let me remind everything happened in the 50% that I have attended. 2, if I came late without studying the textbook, I will be nervous. Allah will give me the peace of mind. I will take all kind of nervous attitude. 3, in a way that we do not know how, the questions will be just from the classes that I have attended, and I will remember them exactly, and I will give a full mark, and I might have it. This is called miracle.
It happened to me once.
Okay? Okay. But طبعا, I'm not saying this happens every time for anyone at any moment. No. I'm giving you an example. And by the way, maybe no one on earth will be aware of this except yourself. It's just something between you and Allah. Does this mean, Sheikh, wallahi, thank you are giving us a nice way not to study?
No. Because
Am I saying this?
if you want something from Allah,
No. I'm just telling you, imagine that you were not able to attend the other 50% of the class because your mother was sick. You were taking care of her. Imagine that you lost that time because some of your families, they were facing a disaster and you were helping them. You were dying to help others. That's why you lost. And you were doing your best from your time as a volunteer, okay? You had no good food. You did not sleep. You did not go because you were supporting someone in disaster for the sake of Allah. And you knew that you will lose the mark and even you will not pass. If Allah knows this kind of sincerity, Allah might compensate you by giving you a karama without you asking it, not even expecting it. Good, my point? It's not a matter of, okay, wallahi, this is good, my sheikh. I will not study. I will go to Ya Allah, miracle. This is in Harry Potter's, okay, films, you can see it, or in Hollywood films. And this is a stupid way of thinking. I'm not discussing this. I'm saying you need to know, if you trust Allah, you build your relation, trust Allah after doing your best. You might have gaps in your life. You might have shortcomings, definitely. Allah will help if you deserve. What does it mean to be deserve? You have already paid the tax for this. Got my point? I will give another example. Then I will stop this. Then I will give the other hadith. Then I will receive your questions, inshallah. Another example. And by the way, when I give an example is just a simple example to make the concept simple. But in reality, in Allah's power, in Allah's will, it's much more complicated like this. Imagine that you are a person really who loves Allah and you are doing your best to do the good. Because you had, let's say, a very important appointment for a new job. You have graduated just recently. You were dreaming about this job, one of the amazing opportunities. Let's say you are living in Oakville and your let's say appointment for this job, the possibility to have this job, let's say 95%, but you have to go to the headquarters of the company, let's say in Niagara Falls or in London, which is 1 hour or 2 hours from you driving through the highway, okay? So something happened with you. You are a nice, good person, doing the best. Allah loves you. You are not aware what happened, but something happened to you. Even you can't explain it to the people around you. Such as one of your close friends was in a very serious problem. You can't even tell your parents about it because it's so secret to a degree. If anyone knows about his problem, he will be in a big trouble. So you are helping, you are covering, you are backing for the sake of Allah to help a serious problem in a family without any intention to the people know because you don't want to cause an extra trouble for them. Imagine. Because of that, you lost the appointment. You need at least 2 hours to go there driving, and the appointment is just exactly after 1 hour and half. Still, you did not finish the problem. Now, okay, it's a theoretical example. Could it happen to you? Is it possible? طبعا. In many different ways. Right. How the karama might happen to you? Yes, give the expectation. Will Allah decide to interfere for your sake? How?
Maybe it happened that the problem was solved fast, and then the highway was like clear, so there was no traffic, and you were able to make it in time.
One of the possibilities. Normally, at that time, the highway is completely banned, and that amazingly it was open. For example, what else? Yes, sister?
The appointment was moved forward.
Exactly, another one. Yes. Out of your expectations, with all restrictions that they have, has not happened not even once in their life. They phoned you to apologize. Sorry, sir. We had a very serious problem. The manager who was supposed to interview you had a problem with his kids. He had to go to the hospital. We need to make the appointment at least 3 hours forward. Please forgive us. Forgive us. Forgive us. Good, my point? Right. If you want to make, there's no need even to apologize. Okay, I will think about it. See, this is karama. Or car accident might happen on the highway and it will be closed officially by the authorities for 4 hours. Was it your fault that you did not go to there, or the highway was closed? And it's announced in the GTA. Please don't use the highway between Ontario, between Oakville or Mississauga and Niagara Falls for the coming 3 hours. Is a disaster car accident that caused, let's say, for example, harm for about 100 cars. And everyone knows about that. So there's even no need to apologize because they don't. Is it possible that Allah really might cause a problem with someone so that they apologize from you, they change the appointment? This is the karma. Got my point? How does it happen? I don't know. It's Allah's job. It's Allah's will. I don't know. The problem is you trust in Allah, do your job, keep doing. And by the way, the karama or changing the law, it's not something that you seek. You don't ask. You don't plan for it. It's Allah. It's just Allah. If He decided to give you like a gift, it's His decision. You don't know that will happen. You have no idea how it happens, by the way. But when it happens, Allah will send you a message that this has been done, especially for you. How can I know, Sheikh? Allah will let you know. Don't worry. Don't worry about this. This is Allah will let you know. Because subhanAllah. This is the message, okay? Yes, sister.
I wanted to give an example of like karama that you were talking about.
Can you speak loudly a little bit just for the recording?
So, for an example, I remember once when I was younger, me and my mom and sister were going to like the mall or whatever in America, and we actually had a flat tire, so we couldn't go out to the highway to get to the mall. And later on, at night when we were watching the news, we found out that the mall actually had a shooting in it that day.
Wow. Wow. Shooting.
Yeah.
In America. La ilaha illallah. By the way, thank you. This is a good example. Allah protected you from being there, regardless what happened there. I mean, Ya Allah, what if I was there? What if I was there? Maybe I lost my life, maybe I lost part of my, I don't know, maybe I'm completely disabled now because I had a bullet here in my, or whatever. SubhanAllah, something happened, Allah just protected you from being there. And Allah let everything goes in His will. Is it possible? Yes. Definitely yes. So I need you just to pay your attention to the fact that this universe is the creation of Allah. The laws of the universe is part of Allah's decision, and when Allah decides to let them stop, they will not work unless with Allah's permission. I will give another example from the Quran. Now, the very traditional examples that we used to study in the textbooks, the religious textbooks, like the faith books, okay, the aqidah books, for example, part of them is like saying, قال النار تحرق والماء يغرق والسكين تقطع. Now, by the laws of nature, when you have a smooth thing, soft thing, and you have a sharp metallic thing like a knife, does it cut or not? Does it cut or not? قال السكين تقطع. Right, النار تحرق.
No.
Fire. It was created, okay, to burn. Fire burns. Water if you are inside the water having no oxygen without any kind of extra helping means, basically you will what? Yes. You will drown. He's sinking now. He's losing his life. And now, when the people of Abraham, peace be upon him, when they decided to punish him because they were worshipping the fire, what did they say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they threw him inside the fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what? قال يا نار كوني بردا وسلاما على إبراهيم. It is fire. Fire was created to burn. It did not burn Ibrahim alayhi salam. How? Allah is the one who gave the nature for the fire to burn. Simply, كوني بردا وسلاما. Stopped. يعني, I told you, this is mu'jiza for Anbiya. Okay? For the ordinary people like us, it could be, we call it what? Karama. They share the same nature in terms of breaking the laws of nature. It could be something very obvious and very huge. It could be simple. Maybe no one notices it, but you will notice it. You will feel it. Got my point? Do you have any question about this concept? I just, as I told you, my point is just to give you like a good news, glad tidings. That if you are a believer, it's not a matter of just theoretical, philosophical things, just to go to the corner and keep saying some certain things. It has no benefit. No. It does have amazing benefits. But you need to know how to tackle it. You need to know how to deal with it. You need to know how to get into this system. وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى. It's like you. If you want to achieve high scores, to be, for example, upgraded in one of the best companies on earth, you are in a very simple status. Let's say there is 10 levels of, for example, levels in this side company. You are in level 1. You would love to be in level 10. Basically, one of the basic things that you must be doing on a daily basis is what? What can I tell me? Working hard. Okay, let's analyze working hard. What do I mean by working hard? First of all, do you have to be disciplined or not?
Yes.
Coming on time, following the rules, obeying the commandments, respecting everyone else in the company, not breaking the law, not messing around, not the do's and don'ts. Is it something basically from working hard or not? Working hard, is it to attend on time? Is it part of the working hard or not? Attending on time. Achieving the goals of your department as a team, as part of the team. Is it part of working hard or not? Now, after working hard, which means coming on time, leaving, sleeping, not sleeping, finishing, working at night, doing, reading, appointment, blah, 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 etc. Whoa, for maybe 1-2 years just to go to be upgraded to level 2. You are dreaming of level 10. It could take you 15 years. Does this happen in our normal life or not? For a silly, simple things, which is salary. Am I exaggerating when this is part of our life? Salary. Social prestige. What is the guarantee to have this good salary or social prestige? What's the guarantee, mathematically speaking? I mean, if I'm working hard in level 1, what is the guarantee that I might achieve number 9 or 10? Is there any guarantee? Any guarantee?
No.
No. The reason simply, I might die in a few weeks. Car accident, disease, illness, problem, war, earthquake. Is there any guarantee? No. Yet, I'm working hard. طيب, is there a guarantee with the promise of Allah? If I'm doing the good thing, Allah will support me or not? Yes. The guarantee is with Allah, not with our laws. So depending on that, we can really. But any other question? Because I have just one hadith. I will finish with unless if you have questions. And the concept has been delivered from my point of view. Any question? Any comment? Any example? Something you agree upon, or you have something you would like to ask about? Sorry. Yes.
What's the difference between say karama and just pure luck?
Pure luck.
Yeah, so if I didn't study for my test because I didn't study for my test, not because I had something to do and I passed, it's not really
Okay,
karma
good.
because it's I'm being rewarded
Good. No. Look, now, she's asking about the difference between a karama and being a lucky person. Lucky person has nothing to do with breaking the laws of nature. It could happen, but maybe you don't expect it. It did not come to your mind. It did not come to your mind how it could happen with this easy. But the karama, it's something, even you think about it, even if you want to make it, normally you can't. Or it's impossible even to do it in your normal abilities. You got my point? It's like, for example, generally speaking, do we have some kind of cancers now? They have no medication or not? Yes. Now, some certain types of cancer, you can't, there is no medicine for them. Just they give you some kind of medication to reduce the amount of pain, and that's it. And they tell you, for example, you will pass away within, medically, according to our records, you are expected to pass away within 3 months, within 6 months, within 1 year. Does this happen or not? Especially with cancer. Right. Now, when you sit with the people, you hear some certain karamat happens. Like, for example, we heard a very famous story. A Saudi lady, she had something like that, very serious, and she donated with amazing amount of money for a poor girl, for example. Next time when she went to the tests, everything disappeared. Yeah, this is okay. I'm not asking you to believe in it. Is it possible that Allah will save, will heal someone without the normal direct medications from a disease that has no medication? Yes. We believe in that. Is it possible? And we do know people. This is now, medically you can do nothing. Materialistically you can do nothing. In your calculations you can do nothing. The money can do nothing. All doctors, they can do nothing except just, wallahi, your mother will pass away within 6 months. And that's it. Next day, test completely positive. Disappear. How? This is karama. Because you can't, okay? But for example, being lucky, actually, the word lucky is just, it's another gift of Allah as a reward. Okay? And the reward sometimes I might be given as a reward or as a sign of that Allah loves me even though I'm falling short. Which is not against the laws, I'm not breaking the laws, but I'm not expecting, or I don't maybe even deserve it. For example, I will give you an example of being lucky. I did something bad at home. My father is a very nervous person. Normally, he will make a big fight with me when I come back. Amazingly, for a reason that I don't know how, when, what, where, okay? He was so nice with me when I came back. Is that a miracle? It's not a miracle. But, Ya Allah, I was expecting a fight with him, and maybe I will be very angry and I will leave home. I was even preparing myself to leave the house. Because I'm sure that he will say X words for me, blah, 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 and say that you and I will be angry. I'm expecting this. Amazingly, he smiled in my face. He said, Ma'ash, no problem, but please don't repeat it again. Habibi, he gave me a hug and he kissed my forehead and just I went, I don't know. It happened. This is not a miracle. I'm so lucky, and it's by the will of Allah. Got my point? So this is continuously happens, but the karama is something so special. It's against the laws of nature. This is not against the laws of nature. Could happen in different ways, but Allah helped to be done easily for my sake. Clear? Difference between being lucky and the karama. Any other question?
I have a question.
So, Malish, can I, because she raised up her hand. Yes, sister. Yeah.
By your example,
Can you speak loudly?
by your example, when you said the appointment was moved to
Yes.
because the guy had a problem with his kids. Maybe, for example, when karama happens to a person, wouldn't it also be harming another person, for example, that doesn't deserve it? Maybe.
You mean when the problem happens in the highway? You mean the car accident?
No. I mean, like, between two people, when the guy couldn't go, and the person arranging it called him and said,
Okay, now, okay.
Is it okay if I answer it?
You want to answer? But have you heard the question? All of you? Clear? She's just pointing to something which is very valid. Okay, my example was theoretical example. We said in the possibility, the appointment was moved. Maybe one of the possibilities, the one who's in charge of the appointment had something, he was in need to go to the hospital for his kids. So she's saying, is it possible that Allah is harming that person by taking his kids to the hospital for my sake? She said, okay, I will let you give you the opportunity to answer about this before I give the answer. What do you think about this?
So I was thinking, Allah would never harm a person for their person's sake. Like, you don't know what's going on in this person's life. Maybe Allah meant to test them
Yes.
for good purpose.
By the way, don't use the word harm,
Yeah, God would never
because
harm
it might be ni'mah for him. Maybe this visit to the hospital was intended by Allah to let this manager see some certain people whom he used to know 20 years ago, and they are facing a problem. He has no idea about them. They don't know that he lives in that city. He's a multimillionaire, and Allah wants him to help them. He pushed him to go with his kids to the hospital to let him